What are turning points? Well, turning points are times when a decisive change occurs. Every interaction could be a turning point that defines the existence and the essence of a particle. 13.8 billion years ago, give or take a few million, our universe may have been born out of such interactions. And since then, every turning point has plotted and characterized its course. In that context, turning points are significant random events that arrive unpredictably, punctuating time and space. And these significant events cannot be brought about on demand like a Netflix series. And the decision-making process is governed by the laws of physics, with a sprinkling of randomness, and perhaps directed by a godlike figure behind the scenes. About 4.5 billion years ago, our Earth was born out of a vortex of interactions. Its series of turning points writes its story. Unpredictable chemical, geological, and biological processes held hands in random concert to provide the perfect breeding ground to host life. And this sprung up across our globe. But the watershed moment was that life was allowed to let behavior and intelligence evolve. So perhaps life could manufacture change, and perhaps life could also decide its fate. Several million years ago, our ancestors roamed the planet. They had interactions and experiences which unpredictably infiltrated their lives. Some, though, were self-made, and some of those consequences self-determined. A sequence of events describe their journey and our arrival. As individuals or civilizations, in villages or empires, through wars and revolutions, we have colluded with randomness and brought about significant events. Our decisions have also been shared and have carved out our history in turning points. We have a gift, the power to create change. And we have the power to influence their course like a god. About 50 years ago, I was in breach. And fortunately, I had my first turning point. I shared that with my mother, who was very grateful at the time that I had unpredictably performed half a somersault before I was born. And since then, my first words, my first steps, and the game changer, my first taste of ice cream, I shared with my family and no doubt share in common with you all. Changes could be motivated by many things: a film, a musical lyric, a sporting moment, and perhaps even a teacher. And decisions can be academic or career related. They could be based on emotional, religious, or spiritual reasons. Unlike inanimate objects, we can share with our family and friends and through our professional collaborations. Randomness, unpredictability, and the laws of nature still are pervasive. However, we can dictate a bit the path we choose to follow. So, what are our portfolio of turning points? Well, essentially, it's a collection of turning points in our life. Some that have arrived unpredictably and out of our control, like illness, injury, or loss. And some through our experiences and our interactions. And they're the ones that we tend to treasure. However, when looking at our portfolio of turning points, it expresses us and also expresses who we want to grow to and what we end up wanting to become. Like a financial portfolio, it has inherent randomness, which we can't control. But it's unique to us. If I was to ask you all to draw your own portfolio as a combination of waves with highs and low points, you will all come up with a different portfolio. And if I asked you again to draw it a few weeks later, in the absence of tracing paper, you would always come up with something different. We decide what goes in, we decide what comes out, and we decide how significant things are, which will change with time. We also should be active when managing our portfolio. And why is that? That's because the more things that we put in that we can control will dilute the things that we can't. We all have the power to change our lives and each other's. And we all have the power to follow and make decisions to follow our course and guide others. We should not devalue or squander that privilege. So I'm going to come full circle now. What are turning points, but specific to us? Well, turning points are times when a decisive change happens in our lives and in your life. Every experience, every interaction defines our existence and the essence of us being individuals. Our individual world is then characterized by what we go through. I would like to challenge you to leap out there and grab life with both hands. You will then only realize how much you have missed. Reflect back upon memories that you have collected actively and do not passively just follow routines or live within the confines of your own comfort zone. Remember, our portfolio is unique and you should actively manage it to shape your lives. And more importantly, share your turning points with others closest around you and others try and appeal to invigorate their own lives. We have a responsibility to guide others as they follow their path and also to be inspired by others as well. Thank you for the invitation and thank you for listening.